Now, this might sound like from the title and from how we begin today that this is going to be a depressing video. I promise you it is going to turn positive. You just have to wait until we get to that point a little bit later. Now, I easily could have come on here tonight and done a video with you showing you a bunch of cool things that sold today. In fact, I just finished packing up a neat Wizard of Oz collectible here that sold today for $90. I'll show it in a future video. I sold some of those AccuCut die cut blocks that I wound up getting at the Magician's estate sale video for $95 today, and made other sales as well. So it's not like it wasn't a day short of sales that I could show you a bunch of those things. But the truth is that wasn't really where my passion was tonight in terms of what I wanted to talk to you. It wasn't really what I was feeling inside, and that's what I've always tried to use as my kind of guide in terms of what I base my videos on. What am I excited about? What do I feel passionate about, either good or bad? That's what I want to kind of share with you. So I figured this would be a good video for me to just get some things out in the open that I feel a lot of you are probably thinking as well, and the comments section could be a good place to vent this type of stuff. But for those of you who do not know, I do live in New York, specifically Syracuse. I'm in Onondaga County. And as many of you do know, the state of New York has just been ravaged with this coronavirus. As of right now, this is April 7th, just starting off on April 7th, because it's like a little bit past midnight. We have 131,000 cases in the state and just about 5,000 deaths. This is something that has just affected our whole way of life. Even our county, the county of Onondaga, just yesterday put in place shelter at home orders, and you're not allowed to even go to the grocery store unless your birthday falls on an odd number or an even number in terms of the year. Now, they technically can't enforce it, but they are putting that information out there, so it's like the strongest possible recommendation for you. So, this whole thing has really just disrupted our way of life, many other people's way of life who are watching this, even if you're in a state that's not as affected. In addition to just the personal generalized things that's affected people, I have an uncle from Long Island, very, very close uncle, who is currently in the ICU. They are treating him as if he has coronavirus, and we are waiting back for the results, which should be back tomorrow. Then another uncle in the family who passed away in New Jersey, which has also been hit really hard, and we're not sure exactly what the cause of that was, but it just happened all of a sudden, and it sure is just very strange, like right in the middle of all of this. So it's just things going on, like I said, on a personal level too. And the thing that beyond obviously the family stuff is obviously sad and tough to deal with, but I had this experience when I went out to the grocery store of all places, which is one of the few places, in fact the only place that we really go out to. And that's once a week, where we're pretty much limiting to that. And you're probably wondering, like, how the heck does this all tie into reselling? I'm going to get there. Just bear with me for a moment. So I went out to the grocery store, and the week before that I had gone out to Costco. We don't go there as often. The grocery store be a more regular place. And I started to notice what I'm going to tell you last week when I went to Costco, but it hit me more this week when I went to the store, which is that, first of all, I saw a significant increase in mask wearing. Last week when I had gone to Costco, a minority of people were wearing masks. This time, as soon as I pulled into the parking lot, it was a big difference. Like, everyone was wearing masks. And it was a weird experience because I felt like I was practically going into a war zone, just getting ready to get out of my car. It was just the most surreal thing, because I do wear a face mask when I go out. I have gloves on, and I really, really take a lot of precautions, because the last thing we could afford in my household is for me to get sick with this thing and have to quarantine. So I really have to be super, super careful. It's just an encouragement for everyone out there to take this seriously, maintain that social distancing, and stay safe. So then walked into what I thought was the normal entrance to the store, which always is our entrance. Didn't even pay attention that there was a sign now that said this is the exit. So they turned what is normally the entrance and exit into an exit only, and the other side of the store is entrance only. So then I figured that out. No carts that you could get inside the store. Had to go outside to get the carts. There's security staffed inside to maintain traffic flow, to close off the doors when there's too many people in the store, and also because some people were getting frustrated that they were out of certain things, which is another thing that I noticed in the store, is that there's a lot of things that they're out of. So things they normally would have, like things from the takeout area, like just shut down, like seafood area just shut down, meat area, just shut down, like lots of places just shut down in the store that normally would be. And then like lots of things like taped off, which was unusual, like the customer service area. They literally had a box taped off behind each customer service area. And part of the reason I'm sharing this to you is if this hasn't really hit your state as significant as it has in New York, you might be interested. What the heck is it like in New York? You're seeing this all over news, New York, New York, New York. I'm telling you, this is part of the reason I want to get into this, so the kind of stuff we're dealing with, because some of this may come to your state. So they have it so that they actually have a sign that says you cannot stand right behind the next person in line, and they have taped off areas 6 feet back. Same thing for the grocery line as well. Taped 6 feet back all the way deep into the aisle. Laura Cohn, who's one of the moderators on my channel, lives in Washington, which was the first state to get hit by this, told me that in her state, they actually have in the grocery store just one-way traffic. And so they'll probably do that in the store soon as well. But the number one thing that really got me just sitting there, I was waiting in the line, I was just watching, just everyone walking around with masks and everyone just being so quiet, was just, even though there were some people in the store, not many, but there were some people in the store, it was just lifeless is the way I could explain it. There was just no energy. No one was excited to be there. It was like people were there to get stuff and like get out as soon as possible. And I felt that the week prior when I went to Costco as well. And then, it was just more of a dramatic effect when I went to the Wegmans by me, because that's just, 5 minutes down the road. That's like my neighborhood store. The Costco is like 15, 20 minutes away. So it's a little bit more distant. So the closer things come to home, the more and more that you feel it. And sometimes, if you're not going out much at all, you might not recognize how things have changed as much unless you start going into some of these places and just seeing the impact. And so that just got me thinking more and more and more just about how much things have changed. And then this is where we get into reselling. This got me into thinking, and I've been thinking about this kind of subconsciously, but then the psychologist saying subconsciously, but I then started thinking more deeply about how much I missed a lot of things related to reselling. And so there's like 10 things I came up with. I like to do these top 10, although it's not in any particular order, but 10 things that I missed and why I think reselling is not going to be the same, but show you how this turns into something positive. So things I missed for sure, and I probably, even though this isn't in any order, I have to say is probably number one on my list, is estate sales. If you watch my channel, I love estate sales. And I feel like my channel's been affected in the sense that, what's the name of my channel? It's the Primetime Treasure Hunter. What do I love to bring you? I love to bring you hunts. I love to take you out places and show you stuff. And no other place for me is better to go to than an estate sale. I love hunting the whole house, going around, looking at all the nooks and crannies for stuff and bringing you all those things. And I can't bring that to you anymore. And it's just frustrating that I can't bring that to the channel. And it's just frustrating for me because I miss it. But more than that, one of the things that I'm realizing is that I'm not just missing that part of it. I'm missing the experience of, taking you in the car and, filming, here we are, we're driving up to the sale. We're driving up to the sale and there's all the lines and there's all the people waiting outside and they're all bunched together and they're allowed to bunch together. And, there's nothing that was ever weird about that. Like no one ever thought like that would be something strange. And now all of a sudden you can't even fathom it, especially in New York. I miss the estate sale dealers. I've told you so many times about the estate sale dealers who I have developed such a good relationship with. In fact, one of them, in fact, actually two of them, I'm still in touch with, like in terms of private messaging. Like that's how much of a good relationship that we have with each other, that we still keep in touch even when we're not doing anything related to estate sales, just to make sure we're checking in on each other, because these are people who also have real jobs in the community and they've been affected there. And so just trying to reach out and be supportive of those people as well. But I miss those people. Not only do I miss the people that ran the estate sales or run the estate sales, I miss the regulars. Like if you go to these sales, no matter where it is that you go, the flea market or estate sales, or maybe it's a particular like auction that you like to go to or whatever, there's regulars, and you might not even have like a great relationship with them, or you might not even have ever talked to them, but you know who they are. You recognize those people, and I miss seeing those people. I mean, that was just part of the fun, is just seeing the guys and the ladies that you typically see when you go there. So definitely estate sales and that social connection. And I want you to put down in the comments like things that you've been missing as well. If this is hitting home to you, I want you to share those things, because I want the comments to be like an area where you could vent, and maybe there's some things you're missing that I haven't brought up in this video. And there's a couple other things I want to go over. So that would be number one. Number two would be garage sales. Definitely miss garage sales. And it's a lot different than estate sales, because what I love about the garage sales is just driving around the community and seeing the local communities and some of the people that just putting stuff out. And I was taking a walk today with a family, and I saw a sign says May 1st and May 2nd for a community garage sale in a neighborhood right next to mine. And I just looked at it and just stared at it and said, I don't know if this is going to happen. Like, I doubt that it will. By May 1st and 2nd. I hope it will, but it does not looking like it. So that is something we go to every single year. There's another one that I'd love to take you to every single year near me. It's just, I take the whole day off of work and I go there, and I'm just going to miss it. The people set up, they have like hot dog stands and, food trucks and all that type of stuff. And it's just gone. Like, I can't even imagine that stuff is going to be present this year. And so, part of how while I said this might sound like it's sad, part of what I'm talking about here in terms of the positive is that all this stuff that you were missing, that if you had experience doing reselling before coronavirus hit, all of this stuff, when it does get back, and it will get back, things are going to get back to some type of normalcy at some point. All of that stuff you used to do, you are going to appreciate 10,000 times more. You're going to enjoy, if you enjoyed reselling beforehand, you're going to enjoy it way more. This is one of the reasons that I say it's never going to be the same, because you're just going to get another level of satisfaction out of it when all these things start coming back to you that were taken away. Now, I've had my own personal life experiences that always make me appreciate what I have in front of me all the time, always. But even that being the case, when everything is just kind of taken away from you, and not literally everything, of course, we could do retail, we could do online arbitrage, but in terms of that personal interaction part, all that stuff is gone right now. Anything that's in person, it's tough. Like, there's nothing like it just all being taken away. Now, I say to myself, it's great that this particular estate sale dealer is here, and develop that relationship. You never know when it's going to go away. Like, I always say that. Or if you have a particular person that you've made a personal connection with who you could source from, great, keep that relationship up. Get as much stuff as you can from that person as possible, because you never know when that's going to end. I always say that. I've always thought that, but never did I really think that just everything was going to shut down in terms of all those things. So that's something I miss. Another thing, if you're a long-time follower of my channel, that I really miss is going to flea markets and taking you to those places. That initial drive, I can't wait the next time I drive in there, turn on that camera and show you that sign that says we're going into the parking lot, and I could bring you down all those little areas, those vestibules, and there's regulars there who I know, the same types of people, both in terms of shoppers and other resellers, and also, just other vendors. Like, I just love seeing those people and just love having those kind of interactions. And it's just a lot of fun. There's just nothing like it. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, we're all adapting. We talked about that, right? Make sure, if you could do online arbitrage, do online arbitrage. If you have a lot of extra stuff, dead stock or back stock, sell that stuff. What you would call death piles, go through all that stuff. Take advantage, clean, organize. Yes, yes, yes. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm not adapting to what's going on. We are. But at the same time, I'm not going to ignore that I miss this stuff. I miss this stuff and it's bothering me. And I just wanted a chance to kind of get it out. So those are 3 things right there. I'll try to go through the other things a little bit quicker. Well, one of the things I also miss is just that prep phase. Like just initially, what I mean by that is just going online and seeing, wow, there's 5 estate sales tomorrow, and looking through all the pictures. And now when I go through like the classified areas, it's just dead. There's just some ads of people who, do estate sales, but that's it. Like there's no actual active sales. Everything's been shut down. Community sales, rummage sales, garage sales, all those kind of advertisements are gone. And I miss doing all that prep and planning because there's an excitement to it in terms of just thinking, kind of where you're going to go, maybe doing a little bit of research ahead of time on some of the items. So I definitely love that stuff. So seeing those sales posted online, I've noticed that, I go on, I still check those old places. It's gone. I totally miss that stuff. Comic conventions, these bad boys here, this is my lifeblood. I have tons and tons of this stuff. I mean, I could list stuff for years for what I have here, but there's still nothing like going out to the convention, seeing those comic books and collectibles, going to the same old regular conventions that I go to all the time, trying some new ones here and there, trying a new toy show maybe that I haven't gone to in the past. Like going to those collectible conventions, especially for comic books, is a huge thing for me that I'm missing as well. Now, this one's going to sound a little weird to you, okay? This one is number 6, which is actually once in a while. Now, I do usually do pickups, but once in a while, I do go to the post office and I do go to FedEx. And you know what? I actually miss seeing some of those people there. At least we have a friendly post office. I know some of you have post offices where it's a horror show, but by me, it's actually a nice little neighborly post office, and I know all of them. I go in there and say, "Oh, hi, Mr. Crone, how are you doing?" Blah, blah, and I'd have a nice conversation. "Oh, hey, Ted, how you doing?" We have a nice conversation, and it's fun, and, to see those people and drop stuff off. And, I just miss that same thing going over to the FedEx. Again, it's just that personal interaction of seeing people and just missing the regulars who part of your life. They're part of your business. You don't really maybe realize it as much, like how essential these people are. But they really are. And speaking of that, that gets me to another one, which is actually number 7, which is handing things or helping out or talking to, interacting with your own personal postal worker who comes to your house. And so we have one who comes by, does most of the pickups, but she's great. She brings dog treats for Daisy. We have my dog Daisy. We have a great interaction with her. We help her out. We'll bring stuff out to the mail truck for her. We talk, we chit chat, and it's just the reason I mention this in terms of being a difference is now, like, they're extra cautious. They're being told they have to be cautious. We have to be cautious. And, now, like, she comes up, we see her, we wave to her through the glass window and stuff, and she'll put some treats down for Daisy. But we can't really go out and help her anymore. Like, I could talk to her from like a distance, like when she's at the end of the driveway and stuff, and wave goodbye and, have a little bit of a chit chat, but it's definitely not the same. I used to go up to the mail truck, talk to her, all that kind of stuff. That's just gone right now. And it gives you a greater appreciation, right, of how important the postal workers are, the FedEx guy is, the the UPS guy, whoever it is that delivering stuff and taking stuff from you, super important, because without them, and they literally are putting their lives on the line. There have been several USPS workers who have died from coronavirus. Last check that I saw last week, there's over 2,000 diagnosed with it. They're not adequately prepared for it in terms of things like gloves and sanitizers. So if you have anything like that, give that to them. If you have any extra, give that to them. They really will appreciate it. But it shows how important they are, because you know what? If they were not working, if they weren't putting themselves on the line, this $90 Wizard of Oz collectible, it's not going anywhere tomorrow. It's staying here, and I'm not making those sales. So, without it, eBay can't function right now, and neither can your other reselling platform. So you're going to have, there's another positive, you're going to have a greater appreciation of your postal worker. So if your postal worker screws up, doesn't scan something one day, maybe misses a pickup, of course you're going to address it, but maybe you're not going to be like, that person should be fired, and that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to I get, like I said, have a greater appreciation for the people who are helping us and really essential at operating our business. Another thing that I miss, and this is just personal to me and maybe some other YouTube resellers, I miss filming in my car. I kind of touched on this earlier, but being able to film in my car is a lot of fun. Like I said, just kind of zooming up on, a sale, or, when we're driving right in together, to the flea market. I miss doing that stuff with you. I miss just putting the camera on myself and just saying, hey, it's, first thing in the morning, what's going on, prime timers? We're going to go out to a flea market today, or we're going to go out to, to an estate sale, and here's what's going on. Because just putting that camera on and starting that's the initial part of the day for me, to just, getting on video where we're really starting things up. And I just miss doing that. Now I'm doing more of these types of videos, but I cannot wait to go out there again and bring you back what is the core of my channel. So that's another thing. That's number 8. Number 9, another thing that I miss is going to private picks. So I have my Craigslist ads, which I've talked about before. There's Facebook Marketplace where I've done sourcing before. Now, some of that stuff is still going on, but I could tell you there's definitely been a decreased responsiveness to ads because people are nervous about doing in-person meetups. You could be careful and you could set things up, but right now there's just nothing like that going on. Now, it can be when if people get more desperate for money, as this kind of plays out, people might want to sell off lots of comic books or collectibles and stuff. And if so, we kind of act like a bank, or resellers do for people like that who really do need money. We can help them out by giving them cash for collectibles or products. But again, you still have to be super careful right now. And I think that's something that's making a lot of people kind of weary. So I miss that because that's just not something that's been going on right now at all. And the last thing, and this could kind of be tied for number 1, but this is, again, just kind of core of who I am, primetime treasure hunter. I miss the thrill of the hunt. So all of those places that I've mentioned going to, whether it's a private pick, an estate sale, a garage sale, or places I didn't mention, like a rummage sale, church sale, that type of stuff. I miss the thrill of the hunt. I don't really have that here. I mean, in a way, you could kind of say like I have so much stuff that I'll go through boxes and find something and say, oh, wow, yeah, that's cool. I remember when I got that. I forgot I had that there. So it's always kind of fun when you could do a treasure hunt in your own place. But in terms of going out and actually having one and finding new inventory, totally missed that. And man, I can't wait to bring that back to you. So I'm sure some of you are missing those types of videos as well. And I promise I cannot wait to get out there. And as soon as one of the things that's kind of good about being the canary in the coal mine, as we like to say in New York, going first with this whole thing, is that we should be the first to end it as well. So hopefully we get back into the swing of things sooner rather than later. Other ways that I would say reselling is not going to be the same going forwards, outside of that little top 10 list that I mentioned in terms of things that I miss and things that relate to that, is I think that people are going to not only have a greater appreciation of all these things that I mentioned, but also a greater understanding of how dependent they may have been on certain sources. So for example, if you were an FBA seller and had all of your eggs in that basket and you were dependent on Amazon, you're not going to do that anymore. You're going to have some other way to make sure you could get your inventory out to people so that you're not totally reliant on a third-party source. You're going to have some stuff maybe spread out among different places, among more platforms than maybe you're used to, and you're going to have more stuff that you could directly control the supply of. So that's a big thing right there. But another thing, and this is something that I've always done, I never actually talked about it before, but when you saw me go out to all those sales, I was always just acquiring stuff, selling it, I wasn't trying to hold on to it, but at the same time, I didn't mind holding on to it. And Mrs. Primetime would, always say, why don't you sell some more stuff before you go out and get some stuff? And sure, I get that. You can make that kind of argument. But what I always told her, and now she admits that it was correct, which I always said, I said, you never know what is going to happen. And you always have to have a plan B. And sometimes you have to have a plan C, a plan B and a plan C, because all sorts of things could go wrong. And I said, worst case scenario, let's just say I lost my real job. And some of you might say, oh, there's no way you're going to lose your job. You work as a doctor in a hospital. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Healthcare workers are losing their jobs all over the place. They're getting furloughed. They're losing their jobs. They're getting cut. All that kind of stuff is happening. So in every industry it's happening. We just never know what's going to happen in life. So I always said, if that ever happened, I want to have enough inventory available that if I literally had to open a store the next day, that I would have enough inventory to be able to do that. And it's funny, for those of you who watched the Mile High series that I interviewed Chuck Rosansky, if you didn't see it, go check it out. As a playlist in my YouTube playlist section, says Mile High series. I go to the biggest comic book store in the world, over 10 million comic books. I talk about the whole history of the place and Chuck Rosansky. It's an epic series. And I keep in touch with Chuck. I actually texted him today just to make sure that he's safe and everything, and just chit chat a little bit. And he said he's actually doing great. And why do you think he's doing great right now? Because the guy has 10 million comic books in his store. So he doesn't have to be open to the public. He could just sell stuff right from his store forever. Remember, he talked about in that video to just keep expanding space, and not just selling stuff off. I followed that same kind of philosophy. Remember, I got that shed last year. My goodness, am I so happy that I have that shed where I could store all this stuff? That's another lesson. If you were putting things off, I think another thing that's going to change is people are not going to put things off as much. If you need something, go out, get it, grow your business. Don't just sit there and wait, because you never know from one day to the next how life could just completely change. So I think people are going to have more stuff that they're going to store up and they're going to hold on to and they're going to hang on to for just in case moments like that. We may never go through something like this again, but it doesn't matter. You might go through something specific in your area, in your state, in your city that's devastating. Natural disasters, terrorist attack, God forbid, all sorts of things can happen to just disrupt your way of life. And this is probably the biggest smack in the face that most people have had in a long time. So I don't want to go super long with this video, but the bottom line is there's a lot of things that I think that we all miss. And there's a lot of things that we're all going to appreciate a hell of a lot more when things get back and we could start just going out there again. I think people are going to approach their reselling business a lot differently. If that's the case for you, if you have similar thoughts along those lines, put them down below. One day, maybe I'll do, when this is all over, like a kind of lessons learned, like a reflection back on this whole thing. These are just some initial thoughts, but we'll see how it all plays out. So that's it for this video, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking with it this long, if you did. And I'll look forward to seeing you at the next video. Remember, I do have a really fun thrift battle coming up this week with Noel Griffith, the farm girl scavenger, versus Alex Fatman the Flipper. That is the name he goes by. I'm not making fun of him. He loves it. So I'm going to use the name that he likes to use and he calls himself. So these people have amazing personalities. You have to come by and check out Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link is down below in the description section, as well as the link to my Instagram account. I put a lot of stuff there today if you want to go by and check it out. That's @prime_time_treasure. I'll see you back at the next video, everyone. Take care.